So yeah, 10 Cloverfield Lane. Mary Elizabeth Winstead's in it. John Goodman's in it, and she basically gets captured and put into like this doomsday bunker. And John Goodman's this really creepy stalker type guy that tries to keep her all to himself, all while apparently the end of the world is happening in the background. And it leads to a really messed up thriller. And dude, John Goodman is scary in this movie. He is. Whenever I think John Goodman, I think of like Roseanne. He's such a big, happy, fat guy, and here he's just like messed up and creepy. I think at one point he whipped out like a barrel of acid to disintegrate
Stop.
somebody.
Have you never seen The Big Lebowski?
I have not seen The Big Lebowski. I have heard
Okay, then
he's also pretty terrifying in that too.
yeah, that would explain why you will only see him as the husband in Roseanne. No, once you see him in The Big Lebowski, he's awesome.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I went from Roseanne to 10 Cloverfield Lane, and I was scared for
All
Ramona
right,
Flowers' life.
we're not doing this. This is our last episode. We did
What?
roundabout, and so let's just go. Let's finish this.
Wait, episode. Oh my gosh, it's up. Hello, Internet! Welcome to our final episode for 2016 of That Random Podcast Show. That show where we talk about movies, like 10 Cloverfield Lane, and talk occasionally about video games. However, this particular episode is going to be all about games, the game industry, the game community discussion, and to kind of round things out about our talking of movies on the last episode. I'm your host, Tyler Chansey, and with my co-host that has kept me on topic, kinda, this entire year, is Michael Mosley.
Yes. You know what? I got nothing tonight. Whatever. I was playing Watch Dogs 2 when you bothered me to record another episode. So let's do this.
So,
I'm still pretty salty about Overwatch winter event.
oh
Real,
dear
real.
me.
For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. For those who don't, I've been really salty about the loot
The rage
boxes.
is real. The rage is real on his Twitter feed, folks. I've seen it myself. It is kind of sad because that is actually what has kind of taken me out of playing Overwatch recently, and it is a problem that I've noticed that has been very slowly creeping into just about everything I'm seeing these days. I mean, the battle packs in Battlefield 1 had the same thing. Call of Duty has got this sort of stuff, but Overwatch, it's got such good design, such good gameplay, such great, it's got great everything. But then we get down to how it keeps you on the treadmill. It's just a bunch of RNG, just a bunch of gambling. It's kind of messed up.
I mean, that's the one thing that bothers me about Overwatch. But the gameplay is so fun if you could actually stay in the game because people keep dropping out, which is why I stopped playing seasons and now I just play 6v6 random heroes because nobody can get salty at you for whatever hero you get. Esports and this whole online competitive thing has ruined Overwatch so much that people will get mad at you if you pick a character that they
That's
don't like.
not in the competitive meta.
No, they're all good at competitive. The problem is, if you pick somebody like Widowmaker or Anna or the new character Sombra, people will get butthurt at you. They don't even know how good you are. Like I main May sometimes. Like, yeah, Symmetra and May. I end up picking May because my team was getting our butts handed to us while we were on defense. A guy got mad at me. Was like, "No, man, get Reinhardt. Don't get May." And I was like, "Dude, I'm good with May. Don't worry about it." As May, I went on a 7-player kill streak and wiped the floor with the other team and kept them off the point long enough for us to win. Guy said nothing after that. So yeah,
Open your mouth,
um
insert crow.
yeah, it's a fun game when you're not playing with over competitive people. I'm competitive. I like competition, which is why I like these online games like Titanfall 2. But my goodness, some people are just straight garbage. I'm talking about just shit tier. And it made me stop playing seasons because seasons alone is garbage. Like, I'm sorry.
So, yes.
Blizzard wants to make a whole league just for players when they can't even get their seasons right. I played one placement match in season 3 and just stopped because it's just crap.
This isn't fun anymore. I mean, this isn't. Gosh, that's so sad. But yes.
6v6 random heroes is fun. I love it. Arcade mode is the best thing to happen to Overwatch.
That's fine. But yes, yeah, 2016 has actually had a lot of interesting trends and kind of events that have occurred. And Overwatch's launch and its contention with its microtransactions and how it keeps, well, changing how it deals with competitive sports. I mean, come on, it launched Overwatch League because it's trying to really make Overwatch a thing. And as you said so, Michael, they keep changing how the metrics go. And it's really annoying because, a game, for me, a game is only as good as its community. And competitive play usually brings out some really toxic individuals. I'm sorry, I'm sure there's some nice guys out there that do play competitive Overwatch that are just good people, but for the most part, for everybody else that's trying to break through that mold, there's always these really nasty, caustic people that just find the best possible way to make a game, something designed for entertainment, feel like a chore. And it's
Well,
sad.
that's any competitive game you play. Call of Duty, Battlefield. It doesn't really matter. The problem is there's nothing Blizzard can really do about it. It's all up to the players, and people are dropping out. There's nothing you can do about it. They drop out. I mean, at least it's not as bad as Street Fighter. What is it? Street Fighter 5, was it?
Street
Or
Fighter
Street
5,
Fighter
yeah.
4? One of those two, yeah, had horrible online connection. And when they did get their connection straight, people would just rage quit all the time.
Oh dear. Oh yeah. Oh yes, of course. The continuation of competitive play, online connection, and the pushing for esports. And in fact, you actually kind of hit on the big thing. Street Fighter 5 launched this year, and it got outsold by Pokken Tournament on the Wii U.
I mean,
Think about that for a second.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's not like anything worthwhile came out on the Wii U at the time anyway. And besides, PC players don't want to deal with Capcom's nonsense anymore, and PS4 players, well, I mean, I guess they enjoyed it. I have a friend who loves it, but he also hates it because how bare bones it was when it launched.
Don't worry about it. It's okay. I still have his ghost in the jar up above. I think he can still hear us. But the thing about those is that they tried to advertise Street Fighter 5 towards the competitive esports crowd because they thought we don't need a mainstream audience to buoy us. Turns out they needed it
Well, the thing
badly.
is, because Street Fighter has been a staple in well, not esports, but fighting tournaments for years.
Oh no, of course.
And so with this new
Definitely.
one, yeah, so with the new one, of course they wanted to focus on esports.
The problem is they focused on it at the expense of everybody else.
yeah, like they forgot about core fans. They went straight competitive and took a lot of characters that are staples of the game out
They
and
only
put them
just
in as
now put
DLC.
they only just now put Jury in Street Fighter 5, and that was the only thing that stopped me from getting it because I liked using Jury in Ultra Street Fighter 4. But now I'm like, you know what? No, I got a bunch of other stuff on my plate now. I don't need to put up with this. I'm, that's really the bad shakeup of it though, because casual players, if they don't get it at launch, they may never get it ever again, and that is a problem. On the
If anything,
positive side of
if,
things,
if, any-
oh, go on.
if anything, they'll just wait until like the ultimate edition comes out with all the characters out on it anyway.
The Ultimate
So,
Special
yeah.
Turbo Championship Edition.
Yeah, the Dead or Alive last round, but they still put out so much DLC crap for it. Granted, those DLCs are nothing but cosmetic, so it's whatever.
Well, things aren't all bad, though. I mean, as I said before, one of the biggest releases this year has been Overwatch, and despite that kind of problem, they still managed to get a major audience going. A lot of very enthusiastic fans, but at the same time, I actually discovered possibly a positivity when it comes to the patch culture that's been coming up. For those who don't know, patch culture has basically been this weird idea that because video games can easily receive a software patch to iron out bugs, optimize the gameplay, maybe even alter gameplay somewhat, that it feels as if certain publishers or even developers have become lazy with how they deal their quality assurance. They just release a game and then patch it later, patch it later, patch it later, and it's annoying for me for several reasons, but I've noticed that it actually was kind of used in a positive manner when it came to Capcom. Hey, Capcom again, with them releasing the Resident Evil 7 demo at the beginning hours, because that thing came out as a PS4 exclusive for a long time, was basically sort of saying, hey, Resident Evil 7's a thing, and look how much we've changed up the gameplay, check this stuff out. and then they slowly added more stuff to it. They updated it. They added some more puzzles, and now the full version of this demo is legitimately frightening and unsettling. Like there's more combat, there's more monster designs in it. It actually was a good job of viral marketing because it kept people talking about it, even in terms of a demo. So some companies are actually starting to use the convenience to their advantage. What'd you say?
Well, I still see it as kind of like lame. Well, it's not lame marketing because we don't know how much of that is actually in the real game. Just like with PT,
Which never happened, which will never be found out. I'm sorry.
well, I mean, we already knew that the playable trailer for that PT, that's what it stood for. It had nothing. It had pretty much nothing to do with the full game they were going to make anyway.
It was basically meant to be an ad for Silent Hills because when PT ended, it ended with a trailer basically.
Yeah. It was just trailer. So like we don't know how much of the demos that we gotten from the Resident Evil 7 is actually going to be like the real game, or because they could just done like PT and just got you hyped up to play Resident Evil 7. Like for all we know, it could go back to being like Resident Evil 4. So who knows?
Well, it does show that Capcom is paying attention to what didn't work with Resident Evil 6 and are doing their best to keep this franchise going with some creativity intact. Well, creativity by Capcom standards, so, expect enemy variety and some novel gameplay. I mean, I'm not expecting interactive Citizen Kane, let's face it. I'm sorry, that's not a knock against Capcom. Whenever it comes to video game schlock, I think of Capcom, and I mean that very endearingly.
I'm not much of a horror game kind of guy. Like Amnesia made me cry on the inside because I was so scared of it.
No, I meant schlock in terms of general thing. I mean, come on, Street Fighter is basically karate Star Wars, and I am totally okay with that.
Where'd you get karate Star Wars from? Like,
if you no. Look at the lore of Street Fighter. Ryu channels positive good chi, and Akuma is this bad guy that's trying to tempt it to use the dark, murderous intent power.
I mean, that's just martial arts in general.
And it's good versus evil, and it's cosmic, and it's good versus evil, and it's big arching stuff, and don't give in to your hate and all this stuff. I mean, come on.
Now, I don't know. If anything, it's more like a more grounded, if you can say that, a more grounded Dragon Ball Z.
Okay, maybe, but that is really pushing it.
Like instead of Super Saiyans, we get Dark Ryu. Well, we got Goku Dark or Goku Black now, so that's whatever. But yeah, I would say it's more like a more grounded Dragon Ball Z.
That's not saying much considering the crap that happens in Street Fighter, but all right. There was some positivity, and there was also kind of the embarrassment of the Game Awards, which we did discuss in full length in another episode. We're not going to link around it here, but something actually did happen in those award shows that actually got me kind of angry, which was the winner for Best RPG of the Year was The Witcher 3 Blood and Wine, which was an expansion pack to The Witcher 3.
Oh, there wasn't really any RPGs that came out that really
Tyranny.
Taught people what?
See, this is what I'm talking about. People looked at The Witcher 3's expansion and said, that's good enough as a full game by itself, just give it the RPG of the year. Almost nobody I know has played Tyranny. Nobody played that darn thing. I think that's a crying shame.
Now you know why they get Game of the Year. I mean, a lot of
good
games, a lot of good games go unnoticed. That's the industry. So a lot of good movies go unnoticed and they don't win awards or get nominated.
And they wind up on Netflix a while later, and people are all like, "Oh my God, this is great! How come I didn't hear about it before?" Because nobody saw it. But that's neither here nor there. I'm sorry, it's a little nitpick, but
I mean, look, in this so far at the end of the last generation, all the way up to now, there hasn't been really a whole lot of RPGs that really make a lot of noise. I mean, I'm not saying RPGs are dying, but they don't really seem to be doing a whole lot.
It hasn't necessarily been a big year for them. I mean, that is one thing I will say though that did happen. A bunch of infamous projects that had trouble productions did finally come to light, such as Final Fantasy 15, the Doom reboot, and The Last Guardian. Oh dear. What exactly can we say about any of these games? Michael, didn't you say you've tried playing Final Fantasy 15?
Yeah, I actually finally tried it, and surprisingly enough, I liked it. I haven't liked Final Fantasy in a while. Like, I don't know what it's been with Square Enix lately, but I have not enjoyed a Final Fantasy game in a long time. I played the originals. I think I stopped at three, the American version of three now, and I tried to get back into it at 10. Hated 10. Try to get back into it at 13. Hated 13.
My
So
gosh,
yeah,
man, you
it,
tried playing Final Fantasy 13?
yeah. Hey man, I tried getting back into Final Fantasy. All right,
Final
I
Fa-
did my
Fi-
part, and it was
Final Fantasy
garbage.
Final Fantasy 13 Eternal Hallway Simulator with Terrible Characters Edition. Way to go, man. Way to return to the
Yeah. Well,
franchise.
yeah. Well, blame Square Enix for releasing that piece of junk. But yeah, 15. I actually gave it a try, and I like it. I've been enjoying it.
I got a bit of a weird relationship with Final Fantasy. Like, I am aware it existed, but ironically, it was the high number counts next to the franchise that always turned me off. Like, for the longest time, it took me a while to realize that each installment is basically its own standalone adventure. You don't have to play them sequentially. You don't have to deal with any of them individually. But of course, it's always the biggest sort of running joke about the franchise, about the name Final Fantasy. And that's actually why, out of curiosity, because I believe next year Square Enix is going to be celebrating Final Fantasy's 30-year anniversary. That's a big year for a big franchise. I mean, this year alone, we celebrated the 30-year anniversary of The Legend of Zelda. My favorite franchise. It was so good. Got special edition amiibo and everything. It was so cool. Moving back down to Final Fantasy. And because of that, I really did finally just break down to curiosity and just looked into what was going on. So over the course of a while, I started playing through some of the older Final Fantasies and what little spare time I could find, and did a bit of research. And yeah, the first Final Fantasy was supposed to be the studio's very last game, and the original ending was that the heroes were basically stuck in a perpetual time loop, stuck fighting the ultimate evil forever. It was supposed to be quite literally the very final fantasy adventure of that world. But then it got popular. It pulled the studio out of bankruptcy. It got hailed as a classic, and then they started making sequels. And then they remade the first one where the heroes broke their big temporal causality loop and beat the big bad evil guy. And ever since then, they've been sequelizing it to hell and back. And now it's a franchise that was supposed to be one last hurrah, and now it's on its 15th installment. It's been going over 30 years with spin-offs and mobile ports and
Oh, hold on.
remakes.
15th installment. No, man, it's way past 15th installament.
No, oh yeah, you're right. It's technically 17th? No,
No,
18th.
it's more than that because you had 13, 13 2,
Lightning Returns,
13 3.
Mystic Quest,
Yeah,
Final Fantasy 10-2,
yeah,
Final
yeah,
Fantasy
10 and 10
Tactics,
2.
Final Fantasy War of the Lions Tactics. That two of those mobile games. The one we don't talk about, the other one we kind of don't really talk about either. They have a lot of stuff.
I mean, hey, man, when you have a cool franchise, like, I mean, people complain all the time about Call of Duty and Halo and Gears. Like, no, man, if you look at some of these bigger franchises that people love oh so much, they are way worse. But Final Fantasy, it has its fans, and if anything, it's horrible because it gets to Square Enix head. Like, despite the point that the first rebooted Tomb Raider, the one before the last one we got,
Yep.
despite the point that that thing sold millions, sold well, that any studio
They
would
put so,
love to have numbers.
they put so much money into it that they didn't make its money back.
Not even that. It made its money back. The problem is Square Enix was still spending money on what would be known as 15 back when it was called Versus or some crap.
Final
Square
Fantasy
Enix,
13 versus, because apparently
yeah.
Lightning and her people apparently were really popular in Japan. Don't ask me how. It's the strangest thing.
The thing is, Final Fantasy is it's gotten to Square Enix head. They pump in so much money to Final Fantasy that the other franchises that they have, despite the point that Tomb Raider sold so well, they called it a flop because it didn't retaliate it didn't get back the money that they put in that one plus the crap load they were putting into Final Fantasy 13, 13 verses, 15, Quantum Leap, whatever else they were working on at the time.
It's the saddest thing because it's a problem I feel that they have come to the wrong conclusion when it comes to why people like their games. They think higher production values and higher visual fidelity would makes it good, as opposed to solid gameplay and relatable, understandable characters.
No,
Like
that's not even a thing. Square Enix loves making movies. That's it. They use Final Fantasy to make
yeah, that's
movies.
actually the problem I had with Final Fantasy 15. Apparently, in order for you to understand half of what's going on, you have to watch this really kind of bad prequel movie called Kingsglaive, and you have to like somehow sit through that in order to understand half the nonsense that's happening.
Yeah, there's that, and there's also the anime Brotherhood. Like when the point that you have to go and look at other media before your game comes out to understand what was going on or what these characters are about, it goes to show you're doing too much, or you're not doing something well enough.
It shouldn't be mandatory. That should be ancillary content, stuff that helps enhance things, but isn't necessarily necessary. Much like, didn't a movie come out recently? Rogue One, a Star Wars story that kind of did the same thing. We have a review. Check the channel, people. But you mentioned before how Final Fantasy is just as bad as Call of Duty and Gears of War and these other highly sequelized franchises. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt for a simple reason.
Look, we need Final Fantasy. It's a necessary evil. It keeps proving that JRPGs or RPGs in general can still sell. So if anything, Square Enix is doing something right, I guess.
No, I'm saying from a creative perspective and from a gameplay perspective, because as you said, it's a familiar franchise. When people think Final Fantasy, they know what they're getting into: chocobos, grinding, black mage, white mage, warrior. Usually, those sort of testaments. But one of the funniest things that came to my attention recently was somebody basically these sentence summaries of the Final Fantasy installments, and this is something where I do have to say their creativity does help each installment stand out and make them at least interesting, or at the very least novel. Like Halo, it's been around for 10 years. What is it? Space Marines versus aliens. Space Marines versus aliens. More Space Marines versus aliens. Okay. Gears of War. Space Marines versus aliens. Space Marines versus aliens. Call of Duty. Guy fights in a war, and sometimes in space. Let me give you some of these. Some of these are hilarious. Final Fantasy 1, 4 heroes break a time loop. Final Fantasy 2, Star Wars, where the Emperor dies and then comes back as the devil, and then dies again, and then comes back as God, and then gets killed by Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm going to fast forward a bit here. Final Fantasy 6, Star Wars, but the Emperor is killed and replaced by the Joker halfway through. Racism is bad. Final Fantasy 8, a group of cadets find out they all lived at the same orphanage, amnesia to blame, the lead character may be dead. Final Fantasy X, daddy issues, the real sports story with special guest Christian guilt complex monster guy. Final Fantasy 15, a bachelor party goes very badly. Now, just some of those clips, just from those small pieces of the summaries, which are pretty funny, if you ask me, very wittily put together, that shows a certain level of consistency. I mean, come on, Star Wars got referenced in the first few, but as you went further, they did do a good job trying to make sure each installment stood out more from the others, and at least had a unique look and feel to them. And this is coming from somebody that has only played 3 Final Fantasy games. I finished the very first one, which was actually the Game Boy Advance remake. I've been chewing on the PS1, the digital version of the PS1 version of Final Fantasy VI, and I've been playing Final Fantasy VII on and off on my Vita for the past 7 months because people won't shut up about how good it is. It's fine. It holds up well. I mean, it's got some problems, but holds up pretty well. And I'm just saying, from those select pieces, I have noticed it does have its own flavor and its own thing, and I'm glad it has a very passionate fan base. 30 years going strong, of course. But I mentioned patch culture before, but didn't you hear about this? Apparently Square Enix is going to be doing big updates and free content updates to Final Fantasy 15 in order to basically fix its plot.
No. They're fixing some graphical issues, some AI issues. I know they're adding in some free stuff for their winter update. And I hope they fix some of their graphic issues because
No, I'm being told that apparently they actually are undertaking an initiative where they will actually add in like cutscenes or take out certain bits of tedious gameplay, add in extra cutscenes, maybe some extra voice line work in order to flesh out certain ill-fitting parts of their plot. They're basically special editioning their game while it's already out, and that's kind of scary.
oh, but that's news to me. I do know that they're adding in more story missions, including one where you can fight Square Enix CEO, I believe. He's gonna be a boss battle in the game. So I know they're doing that, but adding in cutscenes and editing stuff out, I don't know anything about that, to be honest.
I'm not going to lie, that's actually kind of frightening because I'm sorry, I'm a traditionalist. The game that comes out is the game you get when it comes to plot and when it comes to progression. If you're going to add in a bunch of ancillary stuff, a bunch of other stuff as well, like an addendum to a book, I'm fine with that. But if you start patching and removing stuff that, I don't know, it would be like, why even release the game in its current state? Oh, wait, because then it'd be in production hell for 8 more years, am I right? Jeez, my goodness.
Yeah, kind of like The Last Guardian. Ayo.
Yes, let's actually get briefly to the final, completely for reals. Yes, it's actually out now, release date for The Last Guardian. Because originally that was supposed to be Team Ico's follow-up from their big, beloved artistic hits, Ico and Shadow of the Colossus on the PlayStation 2. It was originally announced in 2009 it was supposed to come out on the PlayStation 3, and it was supposed to be apparently a story about a boy meeting a griffin, and they team up, and they try to discover what's going on in these big ruins, and the griffin's adorable, and you just want to smooch his little fushy fish, and everything. It was supposed to come out in 2011. Dropped on the face of the planet. Until E3 of last year, where basically Sony said, hey, remember The Last Guardian? Well, we basically dug up what we could of it, and we're getting it ready, and we're actually going to release it now on the PlayStation 4. Check it out. And I have to say, I picked up my copy because Shadow of the Colossus is one of those games that hit me right where I lived and got me into wanting to be a part of this journalism and criticism business. It's one of those big games that I personally hold close to my heart, and I want to see how Team Ico would follow things up. It is a weird hodgepodge now, because of it coming out now, out of everything else that has progressed, because 8 years, 7 years, is a long time in game development time. Game philosophy changes, design ideas change, innovations happen. So much occurs in that time. So when I finally played The Last Guardian, the gameplay is kind of weirdly antiquated, and the controls are kind of all over the place. And, well, I'm sorry, this bloom on Ancient Ruins look, that was good looking on the PS2 era because we really couldn't render that much before. I mean, it looked good before because, textures couldn't get to a certain detail, and the washed out look kind of hid that. On the PS4, it looks kind of
No, don't lie, man. It looks like a early launch
PS3 game. Yeah, the character models are not that good. The texture quality is not there. Having said that, though, the animation on Trico, the Griffin, oh my goodness, it's impressive. Take anything else from the game, from my personal experiences that I've played of it, Trico looks and acts amazingly realistically. It full on impressed me, the amount of detail and personality that this creature had. I mean, even when it came to feeding it barrels of food that you have to do to make sure it keeps with you, so you can kind of teach it in order to get it to go and do certain things. It was always adorable seeing how I could feed it. I'd throw a barrel at it. Sometimes it would grab it midair and eat it. Other times it would just look at me with a big old dopey face and let the barrel, bounce off his muzzle. And I'm like, aww, he doesn't have no reflexes. And this is coming from a cat owner, by the way. So whenever I see Trico act certain ways, it's like, oh my gosh, it reminds me of my kitties. And the minute I had that realization, and I wasn't noticing, I guess, the rips in the wallpaper, so to speak, the wires, the other sort of underwhelming elements of The Last Guardian, it clicked for me. Like, I know you have been crapping all over this game ever since they said it was going to be back. You were like, I don't care about this thing. I don't care. It's stupid. It looks dumb. I don't want any of it. And I was defending this thing like it was my own baby.
Okay, well, no, it's not that. I wasn't that bad.
Oh, come on. You were pretty bad.
No, I was just saying that I didn't really care for it because we all know a game in development for that long, it's only bound to disappoint. I mean, some people find it didn't disappoint you, but, you know, I lost any sense of care for Trico, like, before the game even came out. I was like, yeah, I don't really care about this thing. But I'm glad people are enjoying it. You know, I'm not going to knock people for liking it.
I can see,
just,
I can see how people will be disappointed by the things I've mentioned. But as I said, I loved how they handled, the animation. The animation is legitimately impressive.
See, the thing for me, I love video games. Just like, I mean, obviously,
we're talking on a gaming podcast,
yeah, I know,
man.
I know, but I'm more of a gameplay substance guy. All right, if your game is glitchy and whatever, but it's still fun. I played fun glitchy games. We all have. Then I can stick. Then I can stick with it. If your story is great, but everything else is crap, I'm not gonna care about your game. I like a good story. All right, as a writer, I enjoy a good story. But if I'm not having fun with your game, I'm not gonna care. And I was gonna give I was gonna give The Last Guardian a try until I heard about the two things I hate the most about a bad game: bad controls and bad camera. That alone kept me away from playing it. And seeing Trico's AI, forget that stupid bird, dog, cat thing. I don't care anymore. I've lost any sense of care for that game.
It is weird because it's the most counterintuitive thing I could think of, Michael, because yeah, apparently they have it be that Trico actually learns as the game progresses, so he becomes much more responsive, much like you would while training an actual animal. But at the same time, though, it's not being responsive, and that is by nature bad gameplay design. A player wants things to happen immediately whenever they hit the button. They don't want to wait around. They find it to be tedious. And yet it happens to me, and Trico's animation kept me kind of enraptured. I mean, I know that sounds weird. It's like get on the thing so I can do the thing, and it's sitting there and like pawing away at like a barrel or something and sniffing, and I'm like, darn it, you're so darn cute. I can't be mad.
No, I hate that. I hate that so much. I've seen gameplay of that, and my good, I hated Trico even more than ever. I was like, fine, you can be adorable all you want, but the point that I need you in order to solve this puzzle and progress through the game, I don't like that. That is stupid game design. I understand if a couple of times, okay, haha, he's a little dumb. But as the game progresses, I expect him to be able to do these things without even thinking about it. Like, oh yeah, we've done this plenty of times. Let me do it again.
I haven't actually had.
He wants to keep being a brain dead dummy. And you know what? That makes me so mad. I understand you want your characters to grow, but my goodness, the point that his AI is so stupid that Michael, I need him and I rely on him.
Michael,
that I can't progress to the game because of him.
Michael,
no,
how much of it have you played?
None of it. Like I said, I've seen gameplay. No, I do not care. I don't care about Trico.
Then take it from my perspective, since I've actually played some of the gameplay. It actually hasn't gone to a point where I would throw the controller. There actually have been instances where he would immediately react and actually help me. Like, there are several moments where you're kind of attacked by these sentient suits of armor, and every single time without fail, he would always go in and defend me and paw away these armored suit guys. But then he would notice something I've always said to go get, and he would go to it immediately. And it's amazing. It's a surprisingly precarious position, because it would go back and forth between being kind of frustrating, but usually in small moments where it's not really expedient. It actually kind of helps give this much. It kind of helps with the pacing somewhat. You're not just rushing from place to place, but when you want to go, he does go. Having said that, though, I may be lucky and I may not be experiencing the same glitches and AI hiccups others have been. So, expect maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I said, from the bits I've seen, people have been on and off about it. Like, it happens to some, it doesn't happen to others. Like, I've seen people complain about Trico getting stuck in walls.
That has not happened to me.
Yeah, from the gameplays I've seen, I've never seen him glitch out like that. But again, it's one of those things where it's just, I guess it's random bad luck for some people.
And it's also an issue whenever it comes to critics having to play a game for review, because I'm not playing The Last Guardian for review. I'm basically done for the year until, whenever things start up again. And it's because of that I'm actually able to kind of go back and forth and play The Last Guardian in a much more relaxed environment. I'm like, you know what? I want to pet this griffin monster thing a bit more and ride off into the sunset and feed him barrels of food and just enjoy his cuddly uddly wuddliness. And it's surprisingly therapeutic whenever I experience it on that level. But if you're like 3 days away from having to get a review out and you want to get the game done so you can say what happens at the end, and it's just licking itself and, scratching itself, and you're like, go do the thing! I can see how that could be aggravating to no end.
I just really hate escort missions. And the point that this whole game, actually, funny. That's why I also hate Ico. Do not like Ico. And this reminds me of Ico, only except for a dumb little girl, I get a dumb big bird dog thing. So yeah, no thanks.
And yet
I'm probably not going to try it.
And yet you have highly enjoyed The Last of Us, and in some respects, it's also an escort mission.
Well, yeah, but only because the characters were interesting. But like I've said before, the gameplay wasn't that great. The gameplay was kind of crap. But
we can agree, disagree there. But yeah, a lot of kind of contested Trouble Productions came out. Wait, was there another one I mentioned? I know I mentioned Street Fighter. No, I mentioned Final Fantasy 15. I mentioned The Last Guardian. There was something else as well that came out that had a bit of a thing. And it probably wasn't all that important. Moving on. But yes,
professionalism.
Oh yes, now I'm remembering. Now it's a certain thing that we all need to remind ourselves every now and then. A very primal thing about us as people. It's that the demons need to go die, and we need to rip and tear.
Put down the controller and go outside?
No, we need to rip and tear demons. You see a demon, you rip its head off, you rip its arm off, and then you shove the arm inside the head hole, and then rip the legs off, and then jam it through the rib cage, and then you rip the intestines out, and then you wrap it around with remains of the horrible torso, and then you hang it up, light it on fire, and then throw it at a bunch of demons.
Is Doom really all that worthy of talking about right now? Like, is it still relevant even?
Doom may actually be one of the best surprises of the year for me, Michael, because I was expecting a lot less. I mean, we talked about this before.
Come on, everybody was. Like, everybody's saying Doom was a big surprise because nobody had any expectations for that. It's not that hard.
People had low expectations because Doom 3 came out, people were like...
Not to mention, what was that last game it brought out before Doom? Rage? Yeah.
Rage wasn't that good.
Wasn't that good. That thing was a piece of trash.
Oh! But then Wolfenstein The New Order came out, and their prequel expansion, The Old Blood, came out, and I actually enjoyed those quite a lot. I thought it was a nice sort of return to form. And then I heard they were bringing back Doom with a reboot, and I'm like, please keep it to basics. We're gonna have a multiplayer beta. Oh dear God, it's gonna suck. Like, I think that was like the pressure from most people in the know. Like, they played Wolfenstein and thought, hey, Wolfenstein's fun because I remembered the basics, I remembered the good stuff, and actually had a lot more going for it than people initially thought. Then Doom, they said, hey, we're going to do the same thing to Doom, and then they said we're going to put multiplayer into Doom because we're going to be like esports. Hey, another big thing that happened recently.
Okay, well, wait, I don't think they really cared about esports.
They were trying to make the multiplayer a thing. They were trying desperately to get that to be a thing.
I think at that point they were trying to grab, I hate to say it, but the Call of Duty crowd that only plays multiplayer. I think they were trying to grab Doom fans and new fans, so they did both single player. And even then, they had a completely different studio do the multiplayer.
Yeah, and that never really shakes out all that well, if you ask me.
Yeah, to the point that they fired that team and now have to take over, and they're doing a multiplayer themselves now.
God, it's kind of weird. But having said that, though, yes, it's the strangest irony about Doom 2016. I've gushed about it before here and there, but it's just Doom. It's just really well polished, very very visually amazing, kinetic, fast-paced gunplay where you just tear demons to pieces, and it is amazingly cathartic. Like, I keep going back to it every now and then myself and play that arcade mode update they added in, and I just destroy things left and right, chainsaw them up, whip out the BFG and wipe out a room. Like, it was unabashedly dumb, but it was the perfect thing. It was exactly what I think the Doom franchise needed. Going back to brass tacks and remembering why people loved the original games, and just brought in enough modern touches to bring it back. And you said at one point that you thought this year was kind of a disappointment overall for gaming, and I say Doom. Doom.
Gosh darn it! When a first-person shooter is a highlight of any year, that's when you know the gaming industry's probably stepped down their game this year.
Doom was worth it for me. I don't care what anybody else says. Like, trust me, I usually don't go and play first-person shooters all that much myself, but when it comes to classics and when it comes to condensing a simple, beautiful element such as unbridled, incomprehensible rage, and you need to take it out on some cyber demon, Doom delivered. I mean,
yeah, how's that Duke Nukem Forever for you? Yeah, think about that. Your Doom could have been the next Duke Nukem. But anyway,
and thank goodness for that.
Yeah, I love first-person shooters. I mean, easily put, I guess Battleborn would be one of the most disappointing for me. Okay, that's not fair. I didn't really have that much hype for Battleborn in the first place.
There was one last kind of annoying trend that I really do hope isn't a thing that I do want to talk about before we do kind of get a bit over.
Microtransaction will continue to be a thing. Too bad for you.
I was actually talking about how Activision thought it'd be a great idea to package a remaster of an old game as a pre-order bonus for the new Call of Duty, and tied it to the disc, so if you wanted to play an old classic, you need 130 gigabytes spare on your hard drive.
Whoa. Man, see, you're going to make me that guy. I think it was a great idea by Activision.
In concept, like yes.
It adds value. If someone's going to buy the Deluxe and Ultimate Edition anyway, why not throw in a second game that you know that they really want? Oh, you want the remastered? No problem. All you need to do is put in 20 extra bucks to the game that you're probably going to buy anyway. It's called adding value to your product.
I would say
$80. Plenty of people paid the $80 because they really wanted. And yet they really wanted the remaster.
Except they did it in such a way that I know fan bases actually would have just said screw it and just wanted the Modern Warfare remaster by itself because of how they've been handling Infinite Warfare.
Exactly. So why not put it with your new game and make people buy the new game? Two games in one.
I'll tell you exactly why. The reason Call of Duty's physical copy sales have been down 50% from last year. It hasn't sold all that well.
But we also don't know about the digital side.
Yeah, but if they were good, Activision would be giving out the numbers already. I'm just saying.
They did release that it was the #1 selling game of the year or holiday. So I got the email from them. I got the email in here somewhere, but I'm not going to look through it right now.
But all the same, though, in terms of big sales, people always notice the new Pokemon sold better. I'm just saying it was a concept, but it was very manipulative. Especially since, they actually decided to put in microtransactions into their old remaster of Modern Warfare. And now, excuse me for a second, I need to go in the corner somewhere and punch it into powder. Because, well, I've made my comment about it perfectly fine!
Right. Well, anyway, I hate to say it, but I kind of hope that Activision continues to do this, because they're going to keep pumping out Deluxe editions and Ultimate Edition and whatever that Ghost Edition they had a while back. They're gonna keep doing it. So if they're gonna do it, put zombie mode in there and have the game have the second game, the remastered, in there for a few extra bucks.
Yes. Go ahead. Keep giving them more ideas to keep buoying their numbers, Michael. That'd be great. That's great long-term design.
Activision doesn't need my help with that. Activision has the game industry by the balls. They know what they're doing. Look at Destiny.
Okay, I'm actually going to have to be this guy now because you brought it up. Now I got to bring it up. Destiny has actually been getting better ever so much.
Oh yeah, thanks to all kinds of DLC. When you need DLC to fix your game, that's when I have a problem. You can sell a remaster with your game all you want, but the point that I have to buy extra DLC in order to fix a story or in order to make the game better playing and more fun, that is garbage. When I pay $60 to $80 for your game, I expect the game to be fun already. I shouldn't have to pay $60, be bored as balls, and then wait for your new expansion to come out in order to be fun.
Michael, I'm with you on this, but let me compare this Destiny as it stands now between Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered as it stands now. Right now, the only way for you to play Modern Warfare Remastered at all is to get a copy of Infinite Warfare's Legacy Edition and wait for a 130 gigabyte installation. That's a limited amount of disc copies, a limited amount of physical copies, of digital copies. No, not limited amount of digital copies. What am I talking about? Limited amount of discs. People are going to hunt for those, and Activision has not been on record saying they're going to release a standalone version of that campaign, of that mode, of that game anytime soon for reduced price. Which, for the record, if they did that, I would snap it up. My reservations be damned. Destiny, meanwhile, yes, if you were there at launch, you got hosed. $60 at launch, $34 expansion pass, the $40 Taken King campaign, the $30 Rise of Iron expansion that came out this year. That's over $150 right there. Pain in the butt. However,
I'm so glad that 150 finally made the game worth it.
Just
in time for Destiny 2 to come out next year.
Michael, do not overtalk me. You do this a lot, but I'm actually on a roll here, man. You're taking out my mojo.
On a roll. Keep going. Go ahead. Let's hear what you got to say.
However, I'm not condoning any of this. I'm just saying, comparison-wise, this is actually kind of understandable. They have released a collection edition, which is all that DLC packaged on disc for, I will say, a pretty stupid, ridiculous retail price of $60 in order to try to maintain a user base by keeping people interested. Which, I will say, is a bit more pro-consumer, but not by much.
So you're comparing a game that's only been out for a couple of months to a game that's been out for a year and a half to 2 years, and that $60 version is okay with you?
No.
You mean to tell me that people really have to wait a year and a half in order to get all the DLC for the price they probably should have gotten the first time around? But Activision gets crapped on for giving people 2 games, one that they wanted, one they probably didn't want it, for $80? Oh, come on, that is ridiculous.
Except, like I said before, this is not me trying to defend Activision. It's Activision on both ends. I'm not defending this at all. That's Activision on both ends. What the heck are you talking about, man?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm just saying. I'm just saying, man.
I'm
saying there's a certain level of awareness that they really didn't. They kind of need more players because that's how a freaking online game works. And yeah, Modern Warfare Remastered, great on paper, but then they started adding in other things that have been messing up the whole thing. It's not a remaster anymore. It's just a reskinned thing. It doesn't have that exact same feel, and that is a problem. And, you know, we've been lingering on this way too much. Activision's the devil. You know, there we go. We get to maintain our cred. Okay, now, as I said, it's a highly contentious bunch of subjects that have happened this year. Now we finally get to our personal opinions. So, disclaimer, these are our personal opinions. If you disagree, please go die in the fire. I mean, please feel free to write in the comments why you disagreed, because it's time to, in no particular order and in no top 5 or top 10 fashion, articulate our disappointments of 2016. It has to be games we played, for review purposes, for curiosity's sake, whatever. Michael?
I mean, well, I guess Recore. Well, I didn't play Recore, so I don't really care. I mean, I was excited for Recore until it actually came out. So, oh man, a disappointment for me. I had no hope for Battleborn, but Battleborn was a bit of a disappointment, I must say.
I like what it was trying to do. I just wish it got more traction.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Battleborn as my disappointment of 2016. I have high hopes, which makes it even worse for me because when I did play it, I was bored. The level designs are kind of cool, if only the missions weren't dragged out and most of the enemies are bullet sponges. And the PvP mode is actually kind of fun. You know, the new characters they've been releasing has been pretty interesting. But for a mobile FPS hybrid, yeah, you know, Overwatch just does it better. Heck,
Overwatch is not really a MOBA though. It's closer to it's closer to a hero shooter. You know, this is why there's a problem with the marketing. They try to market themselves directly against Overwatch.
They're hybrids. They're all hybrids. None of them are really. They're all hybrids. But even Paladin does better. I like.
You mentioned Paladins. You say you've been playing that.
Oh yeah, Paladins, which was before Overwatch, but you know, Blizzard. So Overwatch got all the praise and the attention, but Paladins is actually pretty fun.
And that's why we do what we do. You sing the praises of Paladins, man. Wait, this is disappointments. Oh no, you're messing with the structure.
I know it's disappointment, but that's what I'm saying. No, that's what makes Battleborn such a disappointment. Paladins, a game that's not even finished yet, that's technically still in beta, it's still a better game Then Battleborn, a finished game that honestly I didn't pick up until it was like 20, $30 with the season pass. So I
Yes.
mean, I got it all dirt cheap. So I feel bad for people who paid 60 plus the season pass because that game is garbage. I mean, it's not bad. Yeah, it's garbage. Never mind. Nope, it's garbage.
Wow. Okay, I guess it means we're not going to be on Gearbox's payroll. I said payroll. We gotta really kill that rumor in its sleep. But actually, talking about Gearbox, the only thing even remotely interesting I heard about them was them publishing a remaster of Bulletstorm with a pre-order bonus of being able to play the whole game as Duke Nukem complete with John St. John re-recording his dialogue for every cutscene in the game.
That's really stupid. Bulletstorm is perfect. It's great just the way it is.
I love
And
Bulletstorm.
I don't know why anybody. I don't know why you would want to put freaking Duke Nukem in there. That's stupid.
Because Mighty Boot engaged, bad puns, dated
Look,
90s pop culture references.
Look, Duke Nukem already proved that he's a garbage character in this day and age. We don't need him anymore.
He was dated in the 90s. He was 90s incarnate, and and in some ways I'm kind of glad he is no longer here. But yeah, that's what. Seriously, when Battleborn comes out, the other thing I could think about when I think about Gearbox this year is them doing a remaster of Bulletstorm. Something's gone bad.
Because Bulletstorm is great, and I can't wait for what's it called? Bulletstorm Full Clip.
Full clip edition, yeah.
Yeah,
But
that I will rebuy.
Okay,
I will rebuy that edition.
okay, yeah, disappointments. Mighty Number 9. I wound up playing that and reviewing it, and there were some good parts to it here and there, but it didn't feel like a polished product by a bunch of ex-Capcom people. I know that's not the truth, but it felt like something that was kind of whipped together last second, like it was put together in Unity and was barely even in beta, and they didn't test as much. It just didn't feel ready to go. And this is supposed to be the spiritual successor to Mega Man? Yeah, no, I'll just pick up the Mega Man Legacy Collection, a bunch of re-releases of the X games, of Mega Man X, and I'll just leave this here to die in a fire. Sorry, KG and Afane, it's how I see it. Another bigger disappointment that I did play this year was Star Fox Zero. That was a pain. That was really sad, because I loved the Star Fox games that Nintendo put out before. I loved Star Fox 64. I even liked Star Fox Assault. I even liked that Zelda thing they did to it with Star Fox Adventures Dinosaur Planet. I actually liked those. I liked the arcadey battle combat, the spinning around, doing the barrel roll, shooting, getting combos. It was fun. And then I played Star Fox Zero, and I found out that Nintendo thought it'd be a great idea to shoehorn in a bunch of nonsense and mess up what could have easily been a very straightforward and simple control scheme, and made it feel like I was pulling teeth out of a gorilla's mouth without any anesthetic. I got beaten down, and I feel bad for it. And yeah, I got the tooth out, but I lost some of my own in the process.
Some pretty you lost all.
Yes, I had to eat through a straw for a while. Why the heck that I was pulling a tooth out of a gorilla with no anesthetic is beyond me, because I'm a crazy person. Especially
You were trying to make up for what happened to Harambe.
No, the metaphorical gorilla in this case was the fact that I wound up downloading Star Fox Zero digitally on my Wii U. I had that much confidence it was actually going to be good, because I'm used to it.
Whoa, wait. You have room on your Wii U to actually download anything?
Yes, because I'm a space wizard, I know what I'm doing.
Man, I regretted actually erasing Super Smash Bros. Off my Wii U because I tried to re-download. It's like, oh, you don't have space. How the heck did you get it on here the first time? But yeah, I ended up having to get a hard drive for my Wii U, and it keeps crashing because even my hard drive doesn't want to deal with the Wii U.
As I said, I downloaded Star Fox Zero on my Wii U because whenever I think of Nintendo, I think of polished gameplay, solid fundamental controls, good progression curve. You know, the stuff they've built their entire company around, all their IPs around. And what do? When I play Star Fox Zero, I'm trying to find these motion controls. I'm trying to aim and look at two different screens. What the heck? What is going on?
Well, it kind of worked for that. Oh man, what was that? What was that game they did with the 3DS where they had to put a stand?
Kid Icarus Uprising.
Kid Icarus, yeah. It kind of worked with Kid Icarus.
Not really. So, personal games of the year. Just since we got about maybe 10 minutes left in the show, let's go for personal games of the year. I know you're not fond of the clickbaity sort of things, but it's the end of the year. We can look back one last time and bring up personal games that we thought were above average or great that we will probably be joyfully enjoying.
Game of the year.
These are your personal. This is your personal game of the year, Michael.
I mean, I got nothing because I don't have personal favorites. But if I had to pick one out of the dozens of games I've been playing, whether I had to play or I chose to play, Titanfall 2 is pretty awesome. A big improvement over Titanfall 1.
I have to agree. 1. I agree completely. That's actually in my personal list as well. So good. I just wish it. I wish I got a better marketing, and I wish I had a better release window. That's all I asked of it.
Are you kidding me? EA doesn't care about that game. Since Respawn owns the rights to it anyway, why would EA care? They have Battlefield, so whatever. And the only reason they released it the time they did is so they can bank on Battlefield 1 and still compete with Infinite Warfare a week later. So they had a week before and a week after to just slap Activision round. So, whatever.
But Titanfall 2 ate Call of Duty Infinite Warfare for breakfast.
Well, we don't know. I don't know.
I'm saying personally from gameplay, gameplay wise, I'd say it just decimated Infinite Warfare.
That's not hard to do. Infinite Warfare was pretty bad. It wasn't Call of Duty Ghost bad, but it was still the single player was surprisingly adequate.
Okay, man. I know you said you like the robot guy and Jon Snow was kind of a waste, but okay, yeah.
The robot was only one, but yeah, since we're on robots, yeah, Titanfall 2, huge improvement over the first one. Map design is great. The game is ridiculously balanced, even with the Titans. Everything is balanced out,
beautifully polished.
Oh yeah, just everything just seems to work. Like sometimes you get some bad net coding because internet is kind of wonky.
There were like a few games where a guy was like lag spiking super hard and it was annoying as heck.
Yeah, but like it's just a great game because it's just so well balanced that it shows that they actually cared about the gameplay and not trying to get into esports and making leagues. It's like, no, man, they just want this game to work and to feel great. And the single player was surprisingly decent too.
Oh, I like the single player. It was just the right amount of Saturday morning cheese I was expecting. And multiplayer wise, I'm working on my second regeneration. I don't usually get that into online games. It was nice, and that even includes Overwatch. Like, this has been overtaking Overwatch for me. And yeah, so any others to shout out to?
I do like Watch Dogs 2. I haven't finished it yet, but Watch Dogs 2.
You almost missed the recording because you were playing Watch Dogs 2. I hope it's mentioned.
Yeah, Watch Dogs 2 is great. Interesting characters. I don't care what anybody says. All of them are way better than Aiden Pierce. And I did find the Aiden Pierce Easter egg, which wasn't much of an Easter egg because it was part of a mission, but whatever. So way more fun than the first Watch Dogs. So yeah, Watch Dogs 2 is great. I finally picked up Just Cause 3, but that's whatever. That's decent. But yeah, Watch Dogs 2 and Titanfall 2 are my favorites right now.
Explosions. Okay. Games of the year. I mentioned before Doom 2016. That's my go-to stress reliever. I mentioned Titanfall 2 as well. And I have to say, I really did thoroughly enjoy what Game Freak put out with Pokemon Sun and Moon. I call it nostalgia, call it whatever, but I thought it was really good. And I was also really impressed with the Telltale's Batman series. Like, I finished episode 5 recently, and I'm like, you know what? I'm fine with this. I am okay with this. I'm okay with this take on Batman. And this is coming from somebody that has been on record multiple times saying, I really wish society would stop messing with Batman because of, the movies we keep talking about all the time and people over-glorifying him and doing it's just bad. But didn't you say you got access to the first season courtesy of the very generous people over at Telltale Games?
Yes.
Of course.
Telltale's. I can't really say anything because
I don't know.
I haven't finished it. And with Walking Dead season 3 coming out,
Yeah, that is a surprise.
yeah, I might not finish it at all. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see, but that's my personal opinion. That's just coming from me saying, like, I've gone so sick of Batman. The last game Batman was in, he had a $1 trillion tank, and they bent over backwards to justify giving him a freaking death tank. This Telltale's take was like, okay, fundamentals: rich guy, dead parents, vigilante. Let's put our spin on this, and they made it sizzle with some great twists and some great writing. It's Telltale, they have made a name for themselves doing that sort of stuff, and well, when the worst thing I could say about your game is your QuickTime event action sequences kind of put me in a daze, but the good stuff is so good I'm willing to forgive that. I'd say that's a mark. I'd say it's a very positive mark for their stuff. And keep in mind, I hate David Cage's stuff because of various reasons. So I'm a bit of a classy broad like that. So yes, 2016 gaming had some big moments, had some embarrassments, had a bunch of things finally happen, but overall, it could have been a lot worse, but it had some bright moments. Speaking personally, Michael, agree, disagree, what?
It might have been one of the weakest years. I know a bunch of cool games came out, but
Yep.
nothing really mind blowing, nothing truly innovative, except for on the indie sides, which we should probably cover that more often.
That's actually one of the bigger things I wanted to say, but then you said, wrap it up. You little...
Yeah, well, we've also said that we were going to make these shows shorter.
Which,
But
which is sad. I mean, I didn't even get a chance to mention Firewatch. I thought that was a legitimately great interactive drama before. And you want to talk about innovation? You want to talk about innovation in interactive dramas? Check out the game Virginia. That's all I'm going to say. Check it out. Take my word for it. Check it out. You'll see what I'm talking about. Or read a post I have about on cybertavern.blogspot.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at Darth Rahu, capital D, capital R, lowercase AHU, all one word together. Michael, where can we find you?
look at you actually sneaking in the wrap up. Wow, I'm impressed.
Stop ruining it and talk! You're ruining it!
Yes, well, you can find me on Twitter at Zafmod, ZAFMOD, and for some strange reason you can't find me on there. You can find me on my Twitter handler at M_MOSLEY_JR. And in 2017, I'm actually going to start my own little blog because I'm kind of sick of volunteering my work for nothing. So I will be following suit with Darth Rahu.
Thank you very much. Okay, and to all of our listeners and to all of our readers and everybody else, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and here's to 2017.
Finally done, boy.
Woo!
Good night, folks.